Battlefield 5's Alpha 2 updates and impressions. That's what we'll be talking about today, but first, DICE has given us a teaser snippet of the new Rotterdam trailer dropping tomorrow. The change of scenery in this Battlefield 5 trailer looks like it could be pretty cool with the urban fighting, so hopefully this trailer can really bring in that World War II feeling that so many people have been craving. The trailer is dropping at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'll be covering it, so stay tuned to the channel for more details. Right, so on to Battlefield 5 Alpha number 2. First of all, this alpha is not a representation of the progress and feedback taken and made from the first alpha. It's a slightly modified version of the first alpha, and the big progress and changes being made will be showcased in the open beta. What this means is we still have many of the same issues that were present in the first alpha, including ridiculous snow particle effects, sound issues, 3D spotting bugs, and airplanes that have next to no purpose. However, there are some cool things worth mentioning. First of all, squad play actually works. So this is the first time I've been able to link up with multiple friends and actually work together in PTFO. This means we can test out the new squad work mechanics a lot better, like reviving teammates and working more efficiently toward getting squad support goals. This also means that the V1 bomb spam has gotten considerably worse towards the end of the game. DICE has also made some substantial changes to the damage model, bringing the time to kill for guns like the STG-44 back toward a slower Battlefield 1 time to kill. Let's talk about the details of the weapon balancing for a sec. The STG-44, which was definitely the most powerful gun in the first alpha, has had its maximum damage reduced from 27 to 20, taking it from a 4-shot kill to a 5-shot kill in close quarters. Although it might be more like a 6-shot kill if the leg and arm multipliers are less, which is a very substantial reduction in TTK. Slow TTK means longer engagement times and more bullets needed to kill your enemies. The downside of which is often getting killed by other enemies while trying to win a 1v1 firefight and not having enough damage or speed to deal with multiple targets at once. Pros can be more time to react when getting shot and bigger emphasis on skill in a 1v1 firefight. Now really, the STG-44 is the only gun that saw a substantial nerf to its performance. This change, however, isn't set in stone, so feedback will probably dictate what DICE does from here on out. And rather than increase the performance of other weapons, DICE has decided to reduce the power of its most powerful weapon. Personally, I am a little bit disappointed by this change, as my favorite Battlefield games were Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, which executed fast time to kill pretty well. But for whatever reason, DICE seems to want to shy away from that playstyle. Reacting to taking fire isn't something that has to happen in every game. I've been having a blast in the Insurgency beta, which has a very fast time to kill and little to no reaction time. Instead of putting an emphasis on reacting to taking fire, it puts a bigger emphasis on aim, peeking, and movement strategy. Really though, it just comes down to play style and what you want out of your first-person shooters. I personally hope DICE doesn't opt for the slower time to kill route with Battlefield 5, but if they do, I don't think it'll necessarily be a game breaker for a lot of people, since the weapon mechanics are far better from Battlefield 1. Other guns that saw a change: the MP40 with a reduction to its range damage, the Medic's Gewehr 43 with a reduction to its range damage, though still maintaining a 3-shot kill. The Bren gun for support got a nice bump to its max damage falloff and total falloff range, making it a bit more effective in close and medium ranges. The Kar 98 got a max damage increase but a min damage decrease. Now at range you'll only do 55 damage for a body shot instead of 60. I'll have to test this, but it might prevent you from getting a counts as kill assist if you only land a body shot. Muzzle velocity has been reduced to 600 meters per second, down from 700 meters per second, so there is more drop and lead time required to hit your target. Overall, this is a pretty big nerf to the sniping in the alpha. We'll really have to see what other sniper rifles are going to offer in this game. Personally, I like the faster bullet travel times for sniper rifles in Battlefield 1, but if DICE wants to make it even more challenging to snipe, then they certainly have done so. One of the biggest changes that's been made to the second alpha is to the attrition system, so now many guns like the STG-44 and the MP40 get more starting ammo. This makes a big difference in how much they can shoot from the start, and also topping off from a support class or a supply station allows you to fight for a much longer period of time. I think DICE has hit a pretty good balance here, though Medic still seems to get punished a bit hard with the Gewehr rifle, having so few rounds to fire and needing so many just to get a kill. I'm sure attrition will still go through many more balanced changes for quite a while, but the assault players and people using the MP40 should feel less restricted overall. I was actually enjoying the Bren gun considerably more this time around since I was getting less dominated by the STG-44. Obviously, this could also be balanced by just increasing the damage output of the Bren gun in general to try and better balance weapons against each other. But one of the nice differences I like between the support class and the assault class, for example, is that I don't feel restricted with my ammo, so I'm not holding off on shooting at ranged targets quite so much. I can just let loose with the Bren and give myself more ammo when I run out easily. So that's a nice difference to see, where the support classes have that now as an advantage, the ability to just shoot at everything and anything whenever you want. I like this. I think this is going to play a really interesting role in differentiating the support class from other classes even further. Now, the map Arctic Fjord hasn't seen any real changes, and it's hard to say if DICE is planning on changing anything much beyond what we see in the alpha. Overall, the layout is cool, but the lack of readily available fast-moving transport vehicles means that there isn't too much opportunity for flanking. The bridge capture zone is still one of the most highly contested areas on the map, but not for its strategic importance, simply because it's just fun to fight there. Unfortunately, it draws a lot of the action and strategy away from the other points. This would be less of an issue if the point was on the center of the map, but because it's heavily weighted on one side, the action feels very lopsided. The map in general looks cool. There's a decent amount of cover in certain areas, but because of its somewhat linear nature and lack of flanking opportunities, I found that a lot of rounds could feel very much like playing a round of front lines, where it was really hard to get past the enemy team if they just had a superior fighting force built up. There wasn't any sort of fun strategic flanking options that were easy other than hopping into an airplane and bailing out over a flag. Building cover is something that I almost completely forgot about playing the second time around. It's something that still feels unrewarding and mostly ineffective, particularly on Conquest, especially with areas like the bridge. I would much prefer sandbags to be pre-built and watch them get destroyed over the course of the round, like previous Battlefield games, rather than having to build them mid-combat. The mechanic isn't particularly fun, and it's often unclear if you're helping or hurting your team. Having only played one map in 2 game modes thus far, it's entirely possible that other maps will utilize this mechanic much better, but I played for a while yesterday and only realized at the end of the play session that I had literally built 0 emplacements, and was only reminded of this because I finally saw another player actually building something and was like, oh yeah, you can build stuff. I totally forgot about that mechanic. And then proceeded to not build anything, as it felt like it was too time consuming, and like pushing other objectives was a much better use of my time. It may just become something that people only use in operations or specific maps. As for playing with multiple friends for the first time, it was a nice change of pace. Though our squad wasn't particularly diverse, and the assault class still feels like the most versatile class right now with rocket launchers. The ability to kill tanks and storm buildings while also holding your own against medics and supports at range is pretty damn useful, and very useful on this map. Learning the location of supply depots usually allows you to top off in between combat. Now that I know the location of most supply depots, I'm usually able to top off with ammo and health in between combat, so needing the other classes wasn't as useful. I tried playing as many classes as I could, but I kept coming back to the assault. However, this will likely change with the addition of different class archetypes and map change-ups that focus on different engagement ranges and different anti-vehicle needs. If there was no tanks and stuff, I might consider using a different class in general. Anyway, to wrap things up, I'd say the biggest benefit of Alpha 2 is that squads are now working, and I can test the squad play mechanics. It's a lot more fun. playing with friends. The biggest criticism or downside is that I'm disappointed very much that the time to kill has been slowed down so much. It was really a breath of fresh air the first time playing the alpha and having that incredibly fast TTK with the STG-44. I agree that the STG-44 was definitely more powerful than the other weapons. I was just hoping DICE would make the other guns more powerful rather than reducing the power of the STG-44. It seems like they might be opting for that slower TTK. I really hope they change their mind and go back for the faster TTK and just balance weapons around faster TTK. It's more enjoyable for me personally. It gives me a more authentic feeling of combat rather than slightly more bullet spongy soldiers. So we'll just have to wait and see what direction DICE goes with this. There's definitely a lot of people on both sides of this argument, some wanting faster, some wanting slower, but I think that's going to be one of the bigger debates going forward with the beta and up until launch is how fast do you want the TTK to be. As always, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Today is actually going to be the last full day of the alpha. It's ending tomorrow in the AM Pacific time. So a very short-lived alpha, but hopefully the beta is right around the corner and everybody can get in and play and hopefully test out some new mechanics. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap signing off.